Greetings, mortals. I am Natas. It's the end of the week and time to discuss all the chapters we've been reading this week. So I hope you're ready because I certainly am. So we'll start out first with Shy chapter 117 titled I Am Not a Hero. Since last week we had a break, and this one we don't, which is more of a writer's thing since since a bunch of chapters are already technically available to be translated. Like they do not need a break, but because they are people and they don't want to be overworked, they need a break. I mean, I imagine it is difficult to translate every single word, and I'm not even wasting that. I'm certain it is extremely difficult. But yeah, anyways, in this one we kind of end the flashback with Shine and all that we've been having kind of abrupt, all I think, considered the next chapter, how it's gonna have to go, but whatever. So we first off with this chapter off with Latana's death, Pepesha's mother, which is, very gruesome because we see her like frozen over, like we see her frozen corpse, which I do believe we've seen, but it's still like one of those disturbing sights that you just cannot get over how it's disturbing, especially when you realize Pasha was running towards it. Makes me kind of wonder how she got there. I mean, to be fair, there probably was a gap in time. Like, I know it's not been like immediate. Like, it's actually immediately fell into the was pushed to the water and immediately got on shore. But it's still kind of a weird kind of thing how that person immediately kind of knew where to go and all that. And it's just convenience, but still. And Shine is looking on this because he's focused on Shine, and she's like wondering what kind of face she should make to this. Like she saw a dead mother being frozen over, unable to save it, as Anvilio also says, which I'm pretty sure that Anvilio's personality is probably somehow affected by Shine's power because he got blasted, and before that he looked like all other shrimps that Unilord has. So I do question if there is some Shine effect on him. But I feel like Anvilio is not a good person to be using considering, how callous he is. So yeah, anyways, then we cut to the it's one of those confusing when we're jumping around the past, and this is the category remembering the past and a bit. But because we cut to the before Shine became Stigma situation where she kind of read the book of her failures, all the times she couldn't save and help everyone, and she's like read the page on Pepesha's situation. So like, I failed to save her mother, so her 8-year-old daughter came and cried over her frozen over corpse, and I just laughed because I couldn't do anything. So yeah, she's kind of like condemning herself for forgetting all that stuff and being happy when this misery happened. Which personally, I think you're just having some serious therapy necessary sessions, my dear. Like, I mean, you literally just like you probably wouldn't even have. Like, it's honestly a miracle you were even in Russia during that time period. Otherwise you probably wouldn't even be able to do anything. Like, you weren't like I don't even understand that one because again, like you can't stop everything, which again is supposed to be meant. They're supposed to be heroes, but they cannot prevent everything, and she's beating herself up over that. And her heart starts to hurt, and she's very miserable as the shadow stigma creature that for now resembles her, which is kind of funny since from what we understand, they are supposed to be the same person, so it's kind of odd how Stigma looks so different from Shine. It's not really like an invert of something. It's just like, I mean, I guess you can say it's kind of inverted, but I don't know if Stigma is real age is really enough invert to a point you could say it's the opposite. I don't think Shine's supposed to be taken that old. Like, I think she's supposed to be like your okay, but I mean, I can't remember if her age was confirmed, but Shy is 14, and her sister looked to be about 8 when she was born, so 20, so she would be about 22 now? Probably, maybe closer to 30s, maybe, again, maybe she was 10, so maybe it's more 24, like, again, it's not that big. Wait, what? Wait, am I missing something? Was she all bigger? I don't know. maybe I'm de-aging her because again we are jumping in time for this flashback, so it's kind of difficult to keep track which age was everyone, but still kind of a weird. But still, I'm not exactly getting why she's so. I get it. She's feeling guilty, but I feel again she needs therapy, not whatever the fuck stigma is offering. So yeah. Anyways, then Tor shows up and wanting to it's stormy, so she wants to be with her big sister and all that. And she got Ame and all, and Shine is happy because she also kind of needs someone to be comforting her right now. So she's happy that she can comfort her sister. But doing this, Invilio calls her and tells her there's a crisis, which is Eco's place. The whole burning building and all that we got. So that kind of loops back around to her. As Shine went there to try to save the day, as she does, and she managed to get into the house and everything, but then when she entered the house, her heart started to be in pain, probably because of the conflicted feelings and stigma showing up, probably isn't helpful. And maybe there's even something to do with her weird powers because she was freakishly powerful even as a child, so maybe something of that nature. And she shows up and she's sees their parents, well, Eco's parents and all, and I and she they tell her to save their kids first and then go save them, which I think that I'm forgetting right now if the baby brother it was with the parents or was he was with her sister, but regardless, she saves the children first as she then jumps out and gets out of the way. But then when she wants to go save the parents, her power suit disappears and now she's just a girl. A very powerful girl, but without that suit, without the power ups, you can kind of go into the building fire, which she does try to get in, but it's fire. You can't really do anything without any kind of protection. So the building burns down, the parents are dead, and all that. And we even have like one of the one of the firefighters be like, "You saved those two kids. That's all you could have done. You're a real hero." Like he's more mournful. Like he understands how traumatic this is, but he's like, at least the kids. If you hadn't shown up, the kids would have been dead. It's a good thing you at least saved the kids, kind of deal. Like that's kind of save the ones you can and mourn the people who've died, kind of deal. So he's comforting her, but again, what Shine needs is therapy, not being told you did what you could have done. Especially since Shine in a normal situation could have done more. She could have gone in and saved the two if she had the suit on, but without the suit, it was kind of like, again, your average 17. Like, the guy probably think, the way he talked, he was probably more like, oh, this is clearly just a teenager that was just happened to pass by and, see out the call for action, save the kids, and couldn't save the parents because she's a teenager. The fact she saved the kids was more than enough situation, but Shine knows she could have done more, but she couldn't. And also, a lot of people were saying in the comments when I was reading the chapter, when I read the chapter, saying, "Why didn't she save all if she's so freakishly strong?" And they're like, "Well, one plot." Like generally speaking, characters in anime and manga never really. There's always options that characters do that you have to question why exactly. I mean, it's kind of like why don't Miori, Kanpachi, and Byakuya show up? Why exactly did those three have to go away? You gotta question stuff. So there's moments where everyone's gonna be doing questionable decisions. So in this one, it's similar with Shine. She couldn't, and also limits on the arms. Like you can physically lift everyone. When it's a crisis, you kind of you don't want to burn everyone. Like, you want to keep make sure the baby isn't gonna be accidentally burned. You don't want to carry them awkwardly, kind of situation. So, yeah, Ushiko and save them all. Then we have her. I don't know if this is after a funeral because I imagine like she did attend to it like symbolically there for the parents, or maybe this was after school. Regardless, we got sometime later as she's angry that she cannot. Why does she have that she can't have a heart and feel joy and laughter if everything else is going to shit? Which personally I think again you just need therapy, woman, not you just need therapy, woman, not anything else, something to help you with your trauma from being unable to save everyone. But if you wanna say you don't have a heart, whatever. But anyways, then Stigma, the great guy that he is, shows up and says what you truly wish for is punishment for laughing when everyone else is suffering, which, to be fair, if that was the case, then everyone was suffering. Then everyone should be punishing themselves for laughing when some part of the world, someone is suffering. But regardless, Stigma shows up and basically gives the deal and the offer for to help her out and solve the issue, which is kind of like a very nice symbolic umbrella thing where one takes over. When you have Shine first having the umbrella, but then during the conversation with Stigma, the umbrella gets shifted, it gets turned to this broken, crooked umbrella that Stigma has been using throughout the series, as he's now the predominant personality. So yeah, Stigma took over. Makes you kind of wonder how Envilios knows this, because was he there? Because this is all being told to Shy, so I'm not entirely certain then how he knows that, but maybe there's some kind of sensor in it. I mean, I imagine she still wore the bracelets constantly, so I guess maybe that's the reason. But yeah. Anyways, after that, trauma-inducing, horrific, need of a therapy part of the story, we now cut to something a lot more lighter, which is this time for Torture Princess, chapter 224, titled Torture 224. I guess this chapter is a fucking torture instead of slice of life stuff with the demon key or something. As we have, we find out that in this chapter we have Torture visiting, before Torture came to Torture Princess, she visited yesterday her grandma, and her grandma gave her a bunch of stuff to eat, and she also gave her a bunch of snacks and stuff for the princess for Torture to use as torture methods, as because that's how reason how this concept began, because Torture had like named a lot of different types of snacks and all that, and Princess was like, there sure is a lot of things today, as Torture brings down so that. And Prince is like, oh, I guess in demon culture, Grand must also give a bunch of snacks to everyone. As we then have Torch, as then we have Torch saying you should reveal it, as then Grandma is also there, and she says, you should talk. As Princess is shocked by this, as Torch says that Grandma wanted to see how her job, the standard stuff, and then we just eat some of the grandma's cooking, and they are very happy, as they also then Torcho's grandma goes into how these recipes have went, and and while we don't know if the princess talked, we know the grandma talked by telling them the recipes of her snacks and all that stuff. So maybe the princess didn't expose her secrets today, but who knows? I would not be surprised if it was like one of those. Oh, princess did talk. It's just grandma talking about the food recipe. It kind of matters more. The information the princess gave was just some random information about how her mother can't even be in the same place as the kitchen or something like that, or has never been a kitchen, despite there being like 8 different kitchens or something. I would not be surprised if this is the kind of information she would be throwing this time around. But yeah. Anyways, then we get to My Academia, chapter 417, titled Shimura. We already got a lot of trauma with heroes in this week, huh? I mean, between Shy and My Academia. But what can you do, I suppose? So yeah. Anyways, we start this chapter off with finding out that everyone other vestige of all for one was repelled, as Nana is the only one that hasn't been. As she's like in that like little, I guess that little rubble that they've been standing around. And she's like looks around herself and even asks like, Yuichi, Bruce, Danjo. I don't think it was taken away yet. I think she even looks at where All Might Spear was. And she's like, oh, they're all gone. I guess I'm the only one who was repelled. As then we got to where Deku was in that Shimura in Shiraki's house. As then an evil looking message of Deku shows up and questions Deku, what exactly do you want? What exactly are you gonna achieve? What do you have a plan or anything? So yeah, he's questioning like what is going to do this? Like what is going to happen here? As Deku says, I don't know, but I would like to know. Not I'm not going to not resolve. I want to resolve this. So that cool. So Deku first wants to approach us, but first a truck comes along to try to send the Deku into Isekai world. But luckily, Deku is able to escape before he gets a harem. Because the point of Deku isn't one of those MCI has like 100 girls following after him. I mean, I guess you could kind of consider Toga got to be guy in the truck. I think the other two actually fall over him. But regardless, Deku is able to escape and kind of wanders the world as then we have like this kind of sequence where we have Stain showing up, and they're similar to that evil Deku bastard showing up, where they're kind of like Shiraki's mind is speaking to him. He's like, "What do you want to achieve?" Then the Stain turns into Udastro, and then Udastro turns into Overhaul, and all that jazz. As Deku says that he will do it, as Nardin shows up and explains to him and tells him that she's the only one that wasn't transferred. Which, I mean, I was kind of thinking she'll be the first one to be sent over, but I guess she'll be the last one, which kind of also makes sense, like the one that's going to be the closest to it. Like, the other ones got Nana and Hidaku inside Toshigaki, and now they'll be able to resolve this issue. And now those two are going to be dealing with the actual demons in Shiraki's mind. So, yeah. Then we have, Nana first explains to Izuku about how he's able to interact, why he's a part of it, because, the truck driver almost hit him and acted like he was there. Which just made me kind of wonder if this is the reason why Shiraki was kind of, brought back to his home by that suspected to be All For One man and all. Because I think he did. I mean, I don't remember. I think Shiraki's mom just said, apologies for my son bothering her, but I might be misremembering anything. But I'm not entirely sure that is if Shiraki was almost run over by the truck or something. But regardless, because that's like a weird thing that's been being remembered. But regardless, Daigo can now interact because he's a part of the one for all bastard, so he kind of follows the same laws as Toshinori, Bruce, and all that. So that's kind of the reason why he's interacting. Which, it makes sense, I suppose. I mean, he's not. I mean, to be fair, he's not the same kind as All Might, but still makes sense. As Zaku's just happy that Nana is with him, as they open the door, as they see the memory with Shiraki's sister showing her a picture of the mother. At first, Nana's kind of like, "You still kept the picture," but then they cut to one of Kotaro's beatings on Shigaraki. Which I'm not. You see, I know a lot of people talk about Endeavor being a bad father and all that, but I don't think people ever talk about Kotaro being in the same kind of tier as Endeavor. Though, despite the fact you could probably say he's even more. You could say he's more accurate of a bad, abusive father because at least like he actively wants to abuse the kids. Like that. I mean, granted, Endeavor did physically harm Shoto as well, but that was more of his own ego. While Kotaro just does it because I don't want you to be like your grandma because she was a hero and she abandoned me. So you probably abandon your own family as well if you become a hero. So yeah. So Nana is broken over this, and she also has this speech that Kotaro does, the one he gave to Shiraki when he was kids, a child, as Kotaro and Nana realizes, he didn't keep the picture because of love or anything. He kept it because he just couldn't be bothered away from it. As in things solo for herself because she was like, I I couldn't stop All For One. If I stopped All For One, I could have come back for you. I could have prevented this. I could have, I mean, we don't get like one of those visions, those fantasy worlds, like the ones, a perfect future kind of situation. But you can kind of get like, I could have been there, I could have helped you, I could have been Shiraki's grandma and took care of him, I could have had a granddaughter, all this, and I have simply the feel for her, but I wasn't capable of, I was too weak and I failed you. I'm sorry, Kuntaru. As then we have Deku trying to push himself in forward to get to the main Shiraki in this mindscape as he screams for Na to help him, and this time it goes there to help him and is able to, with her help, able to push Deku forward as she goes there and hugs Kotaro as she apologizes for being a weak grandma, and she and Koto disappear, in a sense, her going through this time. As we then cut to the moment with with Shigaraki creating decay. Because before this, we had Shigaraki be completely covered in black, more of a silhouette figure as Koto was being him, but now he's normal appearing as he is being as this taking place at the moment where his quirk manifested. As Dako sees that moment where the dog is about to start to decay, so we'll have to wait and see on how Dako reacts to that. If he shows up, stops Shoki from decaying the dog, or if he just witnesses everything and doesn't interfere. But I feel like he will interfere just instinctually, which does make me kind of wonder how this is going to go. And, the theories about All For One being the reason why decay exists, I don't know. I feel like this might come back into play, especially with All For One saying that there's that one little card that he still has. So I do wonder if they're going to get this. I don't know, but I'm just imagining a scene where who is succeeding in chilling down Shiaki, but then All For One is behind the fence creeper, watching over there like, you what? No, you are not getting in the way. Actually, this is the perfect time for my evil scheme. I don't know, like, I think this is something that people were imagining when the Shiraka's backstory first came around, because that weird hooded figure that looks like All For One, as well as the fact that the outfit that well, not hood figure, the outfit that guy who bought Shiraki resembled All For One, and the outfits that All For One wears. So there's a bit of a question on that side, but we don't really know that's fun right now. But I kind of wonder if this is going to be real now, hellscape or mindscape. But yeah, so we'll see how Deku reacts and how he prevents or tries anything. But so far we have to wait and see for that. Anyways, after the hero tragedy bit and trauma inducing stuff, let's cut to a bit more fantasy, shall we? With Four Knights of the Apocalypse, chapter 143, titled Tragedy. Why did Myth the Slave not Chain Soldier not been able to release the chapter earlier today? Earlier. So yeah. Anyways, we start this chapter off first with where we left it off last week, with Miltray being in a state of despair and rage because of finding out that, I mean, okay, I think he probably suspected, like 99% certain that the Nazians was the actual firstborn son, but he's just angry because still, like, he was suspicious of the fact that maybe what would King do if his actual firstborn shown up, and now one King never even suggested the drug of yore to be drunk by military for military to take to be healthy, but is giving such a precious thing to Nazians of his own free will, because which you can assume because King was literally explaining the drug of yore to Nazians when he and Sixtus saw him. So it's like one of those things where you are very clear that Nazians did not find out about the drug of yore, and then ask the king to try to see if they can bring back Percival. So yeah, Melchior is very pissed off, and I think he runs outside of the Fairy King forest so he can let out his rage. Some slashes so no one gets hurt, just kind of like, still showing that he has some reason. So, as he's ranting on his rage, we have Kill Bigon showing up and talking to him. As Melchor was a bit surprised that he's still there. Because, he assumed he would just retreat. Because, he first saw them retreat, so he's like, oh, you ran away back to Camelot, but no, you're just in different location. Which, fine, we don't see the other hooked figures that were with Kilbegon, but I'm assuming they are still there. He just probably just told them, oh, you guys wait here while I go deal with I go use this strategy. I try to manipulate Meltre into serving me. As Kilbegon uncloaks himself to reveal what he is, and we find out he's a two-headed lizard man, which is funny because one does look like a lizard, but the other one looks like a turtle hat, and I also think one of them had an eye patch, so it's kind of like very weird design. Very short. I'm not surprised to learn that he is a lizard man, not because we don't know that Arthur uses other races, but it's because I thought, it was more like a disguise thing. Like magic users use the appearance of monsters to disguise themselves so they don't get discovered, because sorcerers are a bit more dangerous than your average knights who are gonna have to go into combat constantly. But yeah, which the fact that Kilbegon is a lizard man kind of surprises Meltre. Be like, well, I didn't know Camelot was recruiting other species, because the whole plan about getting rid of other species and all that. But Kilbegon reveals to Meltre that no, it's just the main other clans. It's just the giants, fairies, demons, and goddesses that are a problem. All our sub clans like lizard men, vampires, and all that, we are allowed to live in Camelot. How true that is below me, because I don't know exactly. I mean, again, it's not even saying how much of Arthur's clan persona is Arthur, so is what Kilbegon is saying true, or if that is just Arthur's manipulation? It's up to everyone to say, but we do know Kilbegon was somewhat high ranking in the Chaos Knights order structure, because he seems to command a couple of them right now, as well as the fact that he was the one who initially gave the reports about the Four Knights. So it's up to discuss how much you want to take Kilbegon's word on what Arthur's actually feelings are to the other ones. So yeah, Kilbegon also reveals that Arthur promised him. Well, he goes a bit about his lore. How first people, lizard men were believed to be descendants of dragons, but then when they clearly won, they kind of just lost any respect. And because Kilbegon had like two hats, he was kind of ostracized from his own clan and all that. So now he tries to say that Arthur promised, and they're also very low. I think they will hunt to extinction, or almost extinction. After it was discovered on the descendants of dragons. But now Arthur came to him and promised them a world for his kind, and where he could live, like where he could be liked and all that. Which again, question how true it is, especially considering the fact that Kilbegon is very clearly manipulating Melcher. Like this isn't like one of those. Look, you are misunderstanding. There's a far more noble reasoning. Like this is not one of those. This is clearly because I'm going to manipulate Melcher to do stuff for him, to get the drug of yore. Like he is very clearly doing stuff, that type of stuff here. As Kilbegon says, here's the deal. You help us get the drug of yore. You will take some, so you will be able to cure yourself, and we'll take some because our king needs it, and there will be all of you here. And with that, everything is well, and we are all saved and all that stuff. So just give me your hand, and devil's bargain type of thing. Like I don't think I have to explain what when a sorcerer shows up says, just do this one thing for me, and you'll get and nothing bad's gonna happen. Like there's some devil bargain shit. Even if we didn't have the end of this chapter, we would still know. Yeah, devil's bargain here. You're talking to the devil here. Like he might be a lizard, but he might as well be a demon here. So Quebec offers this, and we do not see Military accept. We kind of way. We can assume that he accept, But I would not be surprised if Mildred, it is gonna be revealed like Mildred was about to, but he said no. I, my father may prefer Nauseons, but I will not let I will not give the drug of your. It's too important because again, like Mildred, he does sort of understand the ranks and positions of stuff, so I could see him, taking the danger of drug of yore a bit above everything. Plus, maybe he does have some. Plus, I haven't really seen Mildred's magic, so maybe he does have a capability when it comes to making his magic is something that's a bit more on the can tell from like not straight up ants, but maybe something that can benefit him. As I wouldn't be surprised if maybe Meltre his magic is telepathy or something where he's able to listen to people's mind. That should be a kind of nice development that he could get something like that, but we'll have to wait and see, especially since I don't believe we've seen Meltre having any type of magic yet, so yeah, we'll have to wait and see if Meltre accept that or if it was just keep like forcing it into him. Like, maybe he's just buying time before his spell's activated or something. So yeah, anyways, then we have Diane looking for Tiora because after they talked, flew away somewhere. As we have King going towards Diane, as Diane's first like, King, I think Tiora is a bit more, a bit more intelligent than we first gave it credit. She seems to have figured out the Nazians is our son, our firstborn son. As then King immediately like just jumps into Diane's boobs, and then he starts crying and bawling his out, saying like, "It did not work. My plan to get Nazians to accept us as parents did not work. It backfired miserably. In fact, I'm his first casual conversation with me, and now he hates me. Why, Diane? Why?" Because again, Diana and King did not think this through. Then I don't think the two discussed much. They not try to analyze the best things because I feel like one of the two should be smart enough to figure out. Wait, is revealing the drug of yo after this amount of tries? Because I mean, remember time may work differently for King and Diana because they are giants and all that, but they can at least figure out when someone does something a lot. Like I don't think you need to I think you can figure things out. Like I think you can if you spend like every week developing a potion, you should at least figure it's a bit of a time passage. Like even if you don't think it's a year or a month, you should at least be like, all right, he spends like every single day developing new drugs that could help him. I think we should you kind of there's no way of saying it before, or at least start the conversation up by saying, I am not entirely certain the drug of your will work because it's not technically a curse or a poison or something like that. So it most likely will not work, but considering there's been no change and the longer we keep waiting, the worse it could get. I think we should at least try it now. Maybe something more like I'm not certain, and it's precious, so we can waste it more on everything. But I think it's time that we at least try it, since clearly everything else has no effect. So we should at least go through with it, to see if there's at least a reaction to that cure or something. But regardless, as King is born his eyes out, we have the rest of the kids showing up, getting their participation trophies as they come up and tell them we learn about Nazians and all that situation. As the kids are kind of pissed at their parents for not telling them, like, okay, Carl is holding on to, I think her elder sister's skirt because she was the one kind of told everyone. As the rest are like, we know this, Paul overheard your conversation with Tiori, we know everything. Why didn't you tell us and all that stuff? So, yeah, they're like kids, which is funny. Like, you have Mildred, who was extremely suspicious and 99% convinced like it was, he just didn't want to acknowledge it himself. You have Tiori, who was also suspicious and 99% certain it was him. Like, she was pretty much just want it was only. Honestly, those two just needed a verbal confirmation from King and Diane at that point. But the others five are just, oh yeah, Palver heard your conversation with Tiore. Okay, we know now. it's kind of funny, but whatever. I guess you need the entire family to be put on track. And again, like I don't think the family. There's no, I think, real dislike from the family. It's like it's a weird information to learn, but again, it's not something they would be against. I mean, we're now 8 instead of 7. Good. More of us, the more fun the family dinners are gonna be. So I don't think that's an issue. I mean, yeah, it's like the drug of your thing, where it's like, really, King, you reveal this drug of yours, you give it, and you explain how it works, and you don't even want to mention that you're not confident in it working. Did you actually think of anything here, King? Did you really not think more deeply into it? So so yeah, the kids find out, and Sixes, since he was with Melcher when this all was discovered, and he was probably trying to read King and Nazian's minds while we are on it. Like, I would not be surprised if Sixes actually did read King's mind while he was talking with Nazians, and that's how he discovered or not. I mean, I could imagine that Sixes came in to inform them, then Foul came to inform them of everything. Sixes then showed up and confirmed everything again from both parents, and that's what they discovered. I would not be surprised if that's gonna be revealed, or gonna be a situation. Maybe in volume it's gonna be mentioned. Oh, by the way, Sixes already read the mind, and he found this out, and just wanted to convey everything to them, which is again just confirmation for everyone because they were already told all that stuff. So Sixes is upset at King because, being with Mildred, because he even mentions, you were about to give the drug of yours to someone who technically is your son instead of the one who's actually been your son for 18 years now. Seriously, father, did you really think it was a good idea? And King is then like, wait, how do you know it's going to give the drug to Nazians? I guess he doesn't think that he read his mind. But Sixes tells him, I and Mildred saw you. So King and they are like, oh shit. I mean, on the plus side, at least everyone's kinda aware now. All that's really, well, in a perfect world, all that you would have to do now is have a family meeting. Tion, go get Nazians. Sixes, go find Mildred. We will have a family meeting. Because, again, I don't, like, it's the way it's revealed that's the problem here. Everything else, it's fine. Like, I don't think anyone would be upset about them, would be angry at them having an 8th child. I don't think Nazians would be angry about having them as a family. Mildred will need some time to adjust because it would be even more broken about because not everything is true. But again, it's kind of like I'm not wanting to give the job to the Chaos Knights. It's again, he understands the things. Like, it's just a adjustment period. That's it. So yeah. Anyways, then we have Nazians working. We got to Nazians working hard to make a new drug because now that King did it at ADSC with the drug of Yule, he's even more determined to make a cure on his own. Again, I feel like he should have just just tried the drug of Yule anyways, but because he wants to do it himself, as Theo is kind of like wandering outside or is going towards Nazians because those are like vehicles. I'm assuming Theory was going to where Nazians was working to inform him. She probably wanted to be like, oh yeah, Nazians, Mom pretty much confirmed that you are our last brother was taken by Changeling and Mildred is my eldest. But before, at least that's what I'm assuming because she isn't there, and unless if she just mindlessly wandered around, I feel like she probably did this intentionally. But regardless, she didn't see, but because before she sees Nazians or anything to confirm she was going to Nazians or not, she sees Meltra who's kind of wondering, and she first tries to be, she wants to act differently than she did in the beginning when she was, be like, go Nazians, go Nazians, Meltra, you dumb big dummy. So we have. Instead of having that, we have her be like, look, Meltra, and I am a bitch to you, but this doesn't change anything. We are still siblings. We still love you and all. But unfortunately for Tioe, Meltre got, I guess you could say, akumatized or something, because he grabs her by the throat and says, all who are side with Nazians are my enemies. Since, we don't really know, and then he tries to strangle her, and, he's clearly not thinking king-wise. He's in blind. Like it seems like one of those things with the eyes. Like I think you can pretty easily figure out any high level mage, which I feel like they are more capable. It would more engulf with magic. Any mind going in, every mind really could tell you that Meldra is not thinking clearly, rationally enough. They probably, I mean, actually, now I think about it, I'm only calling it now. Next chapter is gonna have success when the SMC Mount Meldra is doing. They're like, oh wait, that must be the mage from Camelot that's causing an issue. So I'm not, but regardless, I feel like the reason why Meldra just looks normal right now is, except for the irises, is because Kibbligan wants to wait until he hits his shot. Because like having Meldra merely go on a rampage, which is basically what's going on with him holding theory. Like everyone decides with nausea is my enemy. I think that's kind of a sign something is not right. So yeah, I don't think this is gonna be a thing. I feel like Melcher's gonna be quickly transformed into a monster to cause even more chaos. Maybe Nausea is even gonna have a bit of a fight, like a little rematch to get a proper W over Meltre, but Kildagan's just gonna show up with his knights and cause more issues, turn Meltre into a monster, and yeah, all that beautiful shit. So yeah, that's it for this chapter. Then we have Eden Zero, chapter 280, titled Windlands. I'm not entirely convinced about this chapter's title, but I guess the final attack was more of a stab, so maybe that's why. So yeah. Anyways, we started the chapter off where we last left it off with Ziggy punching Void, but like we could all assume Void was gonna be fine because Void just used Cat Leaper to, phase out the damage area and says that he has the advantage that he can, put because of the time and gravity is an equal match and Cat Leaper above Ziggy's. So that makes him stronger as well as the fact that he isn't going overdrive. He's still in his base form. But Ziggy is nonchalant, just saying, I may not be your biological daddy, but I'm gonna discipline you like a biological daddy. So, yeah, Ziggy is again gonna discipline Void. Not entirely certain if he's gonna win or not, because again, Void, it doesn't even go to his transformed state here, but we have to wait and see on that side. Anyways, we then cut back to the Eden Zero ship as we have Chris versus Cure because Clint is just gonna go pilot the ship. I guess the whole Wind siblings going up against Cure was just deception because it's just gonna be Chris versus Cure, which not even far more of a domination. But yeah, anyways, we find out what core shtick is in this universe. It's different universes, different things, different events, but in this universe, it's a bit more like those superhero cartoons Saturday morning when they had like certain phony heroes who were causing trouble so they could save it. I believe Powerpuff Girls had like one guy who like hired the monsters to cause chaos so he can swoop in and save them. But then when Powerpuff Girls hired another monster, he's like, "Wait, what? What do you mean? I don't remember hiring a oh my god an attack and he couldn't do anything." And then they saved him and exposed him as a fraud. But that's kind of thing here where that's what Kyo has been doing in Universe Zero, where he was making monsters, making animes, making threats. I don't think it's confirmed to. I don't think they confirmed that he did the same thing Poseidon Nero and why am I blanking his name? Why don't I say Drakenov for some reason? The Alchemist, Jack and Joe. That's what I think his name was, right? I don't think it's still upset he did that, but he made enemies. He made villains to defeat and to fight, and for him to defeat and to be a hero. And in his universe, the Draken Crow, and Crow, he designed it the same way to do the same thing that the previous one did, but this time he would be the one to save it. But unfortunately for him, the Interstellar Union Army showed up, specifically Jaguar, and he saved the day, he saved Holly, saved her sister, and basically uh, Core's entire plan was scrapped. 9 times they found out Core was the one who made Joe made Crow, but they found out and they dealt with it. And they not sure they figured it out, but Core was dealt with. At that moment, Cole realized that, oh, I am the villain. Do not like. I just want to be evil. As even for this entire conversation, Chris is just like, don't try to be some tragic character here. You are no fallen hero or something like that. You're just a psychopath who does evil shit, and you think more that you're bad or something. But Korg is not doesn't think of himself as some tragic fallen hero. No, he's just, oh, I just like being a villain. You should play the villain as well. Since that was kind of a thing where Jin was Chris was at the beginning a villain, but then became a hero. As Korg was at the beginning, we thought he was gonna be a hero. Well, as much of a hero as an organization like Interstellar Union Army can be in a story, but he was the bad guy, so it's kind of like this kind of fight between these two, but which does make the fight a bit more logical. And I also think Cure has green hair and Chris has green hair, but still, it's like it doesn't really matter. But yeah, anyways, so then we also have a bit of an explanation on the whole mindset of people and the reason, not really much of a mindset, but kind of like the idea that was going around. Because remember, in the beginning of the Universe Zero saga, we kind of had this thing where a lot of old enemies kind of became, more chill in this universe than they were in previous universes, like Draken, Joe, and Poseidon Nero. Old guys who rule everything, but they are more fair. And then we have Homora's mother, who not she also was nicer. Shora as well. All these guys in this perfect universe were nicer people, and while they may not be friends, Christian says we're not on a friend basis with them, but we can at least, if they invite us over for some drinks, we would not have an issue. We have no problem with this. We can do that. Sure, we'll meet in this hour, but you're just scum through and through, similar to Aknoel. So yeah. Then we get like a little bit of a fight as we have Chris when he drops that line about redemption and all villains. He cuts Core around, but Core just regenerates. Chris finds this a pain. As then we get like a. Alright, I'll be honest with you. This is one of those extremely stupid moments. Like, this is very like, Mashima, really? I get it. You want to lie a story. You even said you even said it, I believe, somewhere. I'm not sure if he wrote it in a volume cover on a volume, or if that's like an interview or something. But okay, I'll tell you. Chris thinks, yes, I cannot cut you because of your generation. All right, but I figured out, but I know that like every android, you need your core to be somewhere. That it can be. You need your core. You're an android like everyone else. So I just need to destroy that thing. Core is like, oh yes, but you don't know where it is. As then Chris tells him it's the same place as that Dan Crow. Actual, I think it was like I think on his right. I think it's on his right liver actually, right liver or somewhere in that area. And then Kyo's like, "What? How do you know that? How could you find this out?" And Chris just focuses an attack on this as Cole's just panicking and destroys that area and Cure is this. I think it's meant to be taken as Cure, not Core. So Cure is killed as Jin ends the line with the chapter with a badass line saying, "I guess you should first cure your delusions." So, which to be fair, he did accept that he's a villain, so it's like he was still delusional at this point, but whatever. And this is just stupid. Like, why make the weak? I understand that maybe there is no way that Cure could have really moved his core somewhere where it would not be a target. And maybe he couldn't even like remove it and put it somewhere else. Like I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But him panicking over being discovered where exactly it is, and then not having anything put in protection. Like that's the thing. He just panics. Like he apparently did not even try to make it deceptive or trickery. Something that would make it so he could like I don't know try to keep the keep the thing even if you figured out what you have to destroy ambiguous. I don't know which character it was, but I know there are like characters who have like the ability to like move their course that are like difficult to kill characters that have certain things you have to destroy inside their bodies. Those characters usually have like some kind of way to move it around themselves, so they don't. So it's kind of difficult to target the exact place because they constantly move on. You can't figure out where you can have to hit it. I mean, Conan didn't do nothing like that. He just kind of freaked out and, how do you know this? So it's like a very stupid way to end the fight. Especially this is the last fight that we have with the when siblings and yeah, I mean we didn't have a fight with. This is so crazy to think that fact that Chris and Clean literally have showed up to be off screen by Ivory, which wasn't even a fight. Apparently, those two figured out everything as soon as they met Ivory, but Ivory was just being them, but because she didn't listen to them saying, "We remember, we remember, we remember." Then only for them to not do anything against Smoller, despite them having the most reason to go up against Smoller. And now they defeated Cure with so underwhelmingly and comedically easy. And it's kind of disappointing. As much as this is like one of the final fights that we are having. It's just weird. I mean, I get a line of stories and wanting more happy stories, but still, it's just kind of weird how easy this was to solve. Anyways, we then have, after Eden Zero comically bad fight, we have Fairy Tales, 100 Quests, Weird Chapters. We have chapter 155 titled Ichiya's Worries. Man. Alright, this is like, we are continuing the more slice of life stories with this chapter, which makes me think the next chapter for Fairy Tail 100 is also gonna be a more slice of life story while thus the cast is moving along. Probably to make it feel like the guys are actually taking the time to move where they have to. So I'm not saying the next chapter is also gonna be a slice of life. I could see it since Merida. I feel like she would have to be addressed because I mean the Gels group is dissolved. Prima is dissolved, and and Joel is most likely ending this series with joining Fairy Tail. So I do feel like we are going to need, find out what she's doing and where is she because, I mean, we're gonna because we gotta need stuff like this. Like, maybe she'll join. Like we had Cobra thinking about joining, but then he was kind of scared away. But now Merida actually does join because I mean, wait, what else is it for her to do? I mean, Cobra at least has a fiance. What the hell does Merida have now that everything's kind of gone away? But yeah, anyways, we find out in this chapter of 100th Quest that Ichiya is dating Anne. In case you forgot who Anne is, which I will not blame you, she is a predecessor of Lucy 400 years ago, the one that was, time travel in Evo's arc to say help them stuff technology and all that type of stuff, and we find out they're dating. The weirdest thing ever, but it does make sense in the end. I think. No, it doesn't. Obviously, the ending comics has a bunch of other words, but regardless, Anne is those two are dating, and it just made me very creepy about because after the whole after took the job of a teacher, and Ichiya's kind of like spying on her. Well, not spying, but he's kind of watching her. So he's like at the school, like face front into the glass that she's teaching, and then she discovers him, and she kind of smiles because she's dating him. As we then have Ichiya, as then we have I guess Ichiya was waiting for her because they were having a dinner, or maybe Ichiya was trying to invite her to dinner or something because we didn't come to them being in a restaurant and sit down. I was like, you always take me to the best places. And yeah, and also there's like a little bit of talk, hi, oh, are you angry the fact you're dating an old woman? And it's just like, oh, no, age is just a number. Try to be all smooth because, Allie's like the best he's gonna ever get. But anyways, then we get I need bleach chapter, and as I bleach, I mean actual bleach. I'm talking clothing this turn because Ichigo gives us some disturbing fan service, which I'm guessing is the reason why Lucy is in this chapter in a swimsuit and Azura naked, because otherwise we would not be able to handle this chapter. As we have Ichigo after his fan service, if you can call that whole show fan service, is it like, oh yes, my relationship is going well. Wait a minute. She is Lucy's predecessor, meaning the fact that she had children. I mean, a woman with baggage is no issue, but it would be kind of weird. Like, wait, she had children, does that mean she was married? He's getting kind of concerned about that stuff. Like, you want to know. I guess he forgot the part that her husband was already dead 400 years ago, or at the very minimum 400 years ago, and the fact that, she's kind of low. Like, Lucy is the only family this woman has, so I don't think you really have to worry about stuff like that, but he is a man, so he's going to be concerned about the ethics in this situation. So because of these ethical concerns, he needs to find a way to ask Anne for this type of information. But unfortunately for her, these are things you don't really want to ask a woman directly or bluntly, because it's kind of like asking a woman her age. Like, you do not want to be blunt about it. If anything, you have to give some ridiculously young number, and then you have to, hopefully she'll reveal like, oh yeah, you like what, 24 or something, even though you have like 3 kids who are around 8 or something, some ridiculous number. You cannot ask directly, so he needs to figure out a way to ask her about the kids and the husband and all that. So he first, when they're going on a date, I think it's like one of those, like, I think it's a kind of an event where they just go around the stalls as Ichigo is like, yes, so Anne, I was wondering, and he wants to ask her, oh, do you like children? Because, she's a teacher and all that would be a good kind of start to a conversation, like, I ask if you like teachers, she says yes, and then she goes into detail why she likes children. Well, children, so, yeah, but unfortunately the way he words it when it came to actually saying it's like one of those, oh, you think you know what you want to ask, but then you say it wrong. So Ichigo's like, oh, do you want to have children with me? As Anne looks at him with a smile, yes, I would like to. And he won the lottery! Because now Ichigo and Anne are getting married, so she's also a fiancé. Oh my god, I cannot... Okay, let's review this. We have got John Levy going to be a father and mother soon. At least I think so. I mean, I don't exactly know. It's... How long is it? I mean, I guess... Levy only has a... she has a baby. She knows she has a baby, but she doesn't have a stomach yet, so... I'm assuming we're gonna... Maybe when next time we cut to her, she may start to grow a belly, but so far she doesn't. We have Cobra and... I'm forgetting her name right now, being fiancés and being married. And then we have Anne, a over 400-year-old woman, getting Ichigo as her husband. I mean, definitely not fair trade, but from what we're going to discover, it actually is a pretty fair trade. So, Ichigo won the lottery and is now getting married with Anne. And then we tell this information to the rest of the Blue Pegasus Guild as they're all congratulating him, like, yeah, great job, Ichigo. As then we have the fan service member of the Blue Pegasus be like, oh, by the way, did you manage to ask her what you want to ask her? And she says, no, but it doesn't matter right now because we're getting married. Which is true. And then for the final few pages of the chapter, we have a flashback to when Anne was going to leave for the future and she's informing her husband about the child because she already gave birth and all that. As Tatsuya, as I think his name's at, and is the one who is the name of her husband, and as like, don't worry, I'm not gonna love any man other than you because she knows she's not gonna be able to return. She's gonna be stuck in the present in that time period until she dies. as Tatsuya is being a chat and tells her, "Do not worry, I believe, trust that you'll be able to find a great man like me, myself in the future. So if you find him, have him be your, you can do it. Like, I gave you permission to marry again and have children with someone else. It's just the love we were given." As we find out that is Tatsuya, he actually has like a resemblance to Ichiya. Like he has a very like I won't say the same. I mean there is like he's a bit more chatly. He seems like actually like a man, like pretty big, bulky. Like he looks like he generally does. It's honestly just his kind of face structure is very similar to Ichiya, which does kind of rise concern. Like, are these two related by any chance? Which I mean, 400 years may not be a lot, but I imagine it's like several generations. Maybe Ichiya is, well, one, this is anime, so maybe it's just a coincidental appearance sake. I mean, remember, doppelgangers are far more likely to happen in anime than in normal world, so maybe Ichiya is not related to Tatsuya in any sense. They just share a facial bone structure similarity. Or maybe it's like Tatsuya's cousin, and that's where Ichiya comes from. So it's like very distant family relation already, and Ichiya is now over the generations even more so. Because remember, Anne and Ichiya and Tatsuya are not exactly spring chickens by looks of it. They look like they're in their 30s or some mid 30s, honestly. If I had to take a long shot at their ages. So yeah, and we end up with the two hugging. So basically, she's into Ichiya the same way as she is. It's kind of like the resemblance to her previous husband, which is gonna be kind of awkward to mention at the beginning. I imagine Lucius someone's gonna be like, "Oh, by the way, why are you into Ichiya for people? Oh, he reminds me of my previous husband. His face is very similar." And there might also be some personality similarities, like maybe it's like something. Oh, my first husband was actually a lot more swapped than Ichiya, but I don't want to say it to him. It will be insulting to me. It will probably make him feel sad if he, discovers stuff like that. But regardless, Ichiya and Anne are marrying, so good for you, Ichiya. Good for you. He got a milf. Anyways, then we have One Piece, chapter 100, 1110. It's one of those weird number chapters. As we have the title being Starfall. I would say Celestial Fall, or whatever that title for when all the planets are aligned is, since I don't think the last chapter have it, but whatever. So we start this chapter off first with everyone panicking over the Gorsei appearing and like, what is that black light limb? That's the same thing that happened when Saturn appeared. As we have all the Gorsei showing up, as we have them all in their Zoan forms. I guess they transform while they were transporting, or maybe maybe it's like a manic transformation thing, because we have them all appear there, they're all in their Zoans. In the last chapter, I think they were just all in their human forms. I don't know if the room of authority is that big for all of them, especially what Jupiter is found out to be. But yeah, anyways, we have all of them appearing on Aiken Island, as then we have we find out what they are. We see the Saturn is a Gyoke. I'm the ancient spider bull kind of creature. We find out that Mars is a some kind of mythical bird, not a phoenix, but a similar type of bird. What's his Ethan, we see some kind of skeleton horse. Then we have Top Man is a giant mystical boar. And Jupiter is a sandworm from Dune. Now, there's a bit of debate if this is just Oda saw Doom, and because Dune has like a bit, it's kind of the thing that popularized the sandworm creatures. There's a bit of a question. Maybe that's the reason why he's Samuel, because it's also kind of like Peter was a bit of the most ambiguous types of characters to appear. Plus, when you look at the mythical others, you're kind of like, one of these things is not like the others. Like the other four are some kind of Japanese, Chinese mythical creatures, while Jupiter is a sandworm. So it's kind of weird. Although I would like to mention that Jupiter's design is a bit weird because I do like a lot of it, but the mouth just looks wrong with it being like a normal human. Which again, it's supposed to be Oda, so that's kind of what he does. But I feel like Jupiter should have had like a more standard sandworm mouth or something. It's not this like normal human mouth on a sandworm. It just kind of looks odd. It's kind of like Black Maria's spider, where it has like a normal face, not the creepy torrential face. It just kind of doesn't fit right. But regardless, Jupiter shows up. But regardless, they all show up and they start doing stuff. Like we have Mars flying up and going to to break through the dome. We have Ethan going into a hybrid form, and he's a Pegasus on that Pegasus. Who goes around cutting pacifistas down, and it's like I don't mean like destroying them, but freezing them over so they will not be able to fight against them, so they could so Saturn could reuse them for their own purposes. And he does it. Like, this is like one of those actual like intimidating feats by one of the Gorosei for once because he is cutting them all, and he does it so fast. They was like, oh, pacifistas, half the pacifistas are already down. I mean, I don't know who these people are, but they're our allies, so they're yay. We can all concentrate on killing Bonnie and all that stuff. So, yeah, Ethan is just dealing with that, and we have Jupiter's going to the ground, and yeah, and we also have Saturn attacking with a few of the spikes. Top Man doesn't really do anything, but it's probably one of those things where he's the strongest, so we're gonna have to keep a bit more ambiguous. Which, although funny enough, we do get like a number system for the Gorosei in this chapter because Saturn had a 5. I was unclear if all of the Gorosei had 5s or just or if everyone had individual numbers. And I believe the way the numbers go are number 1, Jupiter, which means that he was probably the first. Number 2 was Ethan. Number 3 was Topman. Number 4 was Mars. And number 5 was Saturn. What these numbers have significance to, we don't know. We have to wait and see. Is it a power ranking? Is it when they join? We don't know. Also, the devil fruits do not have devil fruit and what type it is. They just have their names of their transformations. So, are they something else? Are they not? Is it just like a space conservative effort? I don't know. But regardless, we have them do some stuff. Then we also find on this chapter that kind of insignificant, some of the side plots that we had throughout this portion kind of being resolved with Usopp stopping Lilith and Brook from falling off with his one of his beams. They are informing that information to everyone. San just kind of communicated with everyone. And they tell him that's not where now you just have to wait for Jinbei and Zoro to show up. Zoro fights Lucci as Jinbei finally shows up. Like, I see them! They're still fighting, as then Sanji says, he's still fighting. That useless Moss Hat is just a drag on the crew. As then Zoro hears that, he's like, oh, that fool thinks he can make fun of me? Alright, I want to delay this for like, I don't know how long, I don't know why, honestly. The theory right now is just that I didn't want to go, as the right-hand man to Luffy, I didn't want to go full power. That's the reason why I was wasting time, but whatever. I will fight. I will go three sword style Ashura on this African creature and I'm cutting it down. And then he goes to a slice, attacks Zoro, and he does kind of the finishing blow on Lucci. Lucci still catches the next chapter, but it's kind of supposed to be a finishing blow, like kind of like a good. The fight is over here. So Zoro finally decides to do stuff. So Zoro finally finishes the fight. Granted, I don't think this is gonna help Zoro's reputation a bit because, again, like he needed to go free sword style and Lucha isn't even fully done. This was a Lucha that already had a few damage from Zoro, so I guess if Zoro went full power from the very get go, it would probably be take quite a few hits for him to bring Lucha down. But regardless, the battle is finally over as we then focus. We got back to Luffy versus the Gorosei as we have Jupiter emerging from the ground because he got went to the ground first, and then he chomps on Luffy to eat him alive because they're giant salmon. That's kind of what he has to do. But then Dory and Barker show up and use their swords to decapitate Jupiter to save Luffy. It's like, oh, I haven't seen you guys in a while, as he still laughs because he probably could have escaped. I think he did something like similar to this happen with Kaido when he was inside and he was dealing with, and he was kind of like topped up, mashing with Kaido's internal organs. So I'm assuming he'll probably escape from Jupiter as well. But regardless, we have him being saved by Darwin Bunker is like an end of chapter introduction thing, which kind of disappointed that Jupiter got the captain in this chapter, which was kind of hyping them up, but whatever. It's probably just to move things along so it would not be, forced tension or that type of stuff and dragging the story down. But yeah, regardless, Luffy escapes and that of Jupiter's body, and and Bucky all kind of laughing, all be kind of happy about the situation going on right now, even though there are literal demons around them. And a sand one for some reason. So yeah, anyways, now to up to the final two chapters of this week, as we have Chainsaw Man, chapter 195, titled Attack on Samurai! I don't know if katana and samurai are the same thing, but whatever. We do not have many characters like a common anime who are just people with proficient with using blades to kill people, but are not swordsmen or samurai. So, whatever. Katana Man versus Kame. Who wins? So yeah. Anyways, we have so we start this chapter off with the fathers or the not the fathers, the what we call them, the the usable the imbecile squad kind of being like the leader, be like, hey, you don't have to follow me. As the one guy's like, I have nowhere else to go. I just have to kind of go along wherever you guys go. As then Kubani's younger brother is like, I know where I'm going. I want to go home, but I don't know where. But I have no idea where that is because they're just there for us to make weapons or to be cannon fodder to be killed. They are nothing else. As we have Kobani's younger brother being next to one of those cells as he's being scared by the guillotine devil a bit, as he sees that inside that cell there's like a bunch of civilians who have like the chainsaws coming out of their bodies. It's like, oh, like the chainsaw zombies. As then we have the guy who was, I believe, the one that was supposed to guard against if Danges tried to escape there. I guess he also moved out of the operation room to deal with the situation because again, it makes sense they were going to save him. So I guess he makes like he would be one of the first there. Which does make me kind of wonder if he's a lot more powerful, or at least an actual combatant or not, because this chapter he kind of just is a piece of crap that delays them. So I'm not entirely certain on if he can actually fight or not. But guys, he first starts to have this talk about. I'm guessing he's giving us a brief rundown of the situation going on in the world right now because we kind of had a time skip, but then we focused on all this action, so we don't really fully understand what the situation is with zombies. As he states that, a few days after the initial outbreak, there were still people that got turned to chainsaws. My wife, who was doing everything for me, making me lunches for work and all that, got a chainsaw, and for no reason. Yet you guys, who've been the leaders of this call, and most of the people who initially got transformed into chainsaws were you people, you guys do not have chainsaws off your heads, Miss Burt. Why is that? There are many theories about why or whatnot, which I do have to one, which I think wasn't in the original thing that they made contracts with the Fire Devil, and that's the reason why they changed us all they had. So everyone in God does the Fire Devil just have a lot of contracts with the people, and now he's using every single one of them, even if they're not related to the Chainsaw Man Church. Is a thing? Maybe. What I know is that this guy says that everyone's been kind of turned to chainsaws, and yet it doesn't seem to be any god to help them because of he never had anything in his life, which is a mere bullshit because Asa asked this guy, really, nothing ever. You did everything good in your life, but then got stuck with this kind of lot. As this guy says, well, it was one thing, or probably that 7-month affair I had on my coworker, but I broke it off for someone, so it's probably fine. As you just says, you piece of crap, you're just buying time, as she kicks Fanny out of the way as Katana Man shows up to slice through it as he's here ready to rumble. As then we also have that I'm not sure that if he's supposed to be a nail fiend or hammer fiend or if he's some kind of organic fiend. The one that has like a bunch of, I think he has like a, I think that the one that has like a bunch of organs on the top half of the head or something. And that one that we've seen when the attacks against the Chainsaw Man Judge initially happened. That devil shows up and also goes for a strike, but at Fami, who first wants to ask for Guillotine to help, but Guillotine's out of the time limit got expired if Katana Man caught him while moving, or if Guillotine was just too scared because those two showing up. But regardless, Guillotine is back to being a little meat finger thing, which actually get a bit more closer look at it, and he does seem to be like a general shape of himself. So Fanny calls him useless, which how dare you call Guillotine Devil useless, my dear? And just for that, you get another kick in the face because that fiend goes to strike at Fanny as Yo just kicks Fanny again in the head to away. As the fiend's like, "Oh, be a bit more nicer to her." As you also, you try pushing someone out of the way with only one arm. Which, personally, I think it's just kind of like giving a little bit of a punishment for all the shit that she caused. Remember, all this shit is because of her and her stupid plan. So, we'll have to, I feel like Asa is deserving of some kicks on Family here. I think we all kind of want that. Also, she shit on Guillotine Devil, and you don't shit on the Guillotine Devil unless if you get some kicks on yourself. So, yeah, we have Yura versus Katana Man and the Fiend. I'm assuming we're gonna find out what the Fiend is next chapter or something with his name. So, yeah, I'm guessing those three dipshits are gonna be turned to weapons. Family might help with another devil or something. As then we have a fight. This one I feel like is just kind of supposed to be like this kind of fight to show how much Asa grew, as all she could take down an enemy that gave Denji a bit of a trouble at the beginning of the story. So, kind of showing the progression of story a bit here. So, she defeats, like, probably the Katana Man as well as that other Fiend. I'm assuming there's gonna be more others. I imagine Quan Chi's there as well. Even though we haven't seen her yet, but to be fair, we haven't also seen this Fiend and Katana Man before this chapter, so we have to wait and see on that front. Maybe that other guy, that piece of crap that was stalling, maybe he will also participate, but we don't know. Anyways, now we get to the final chapter of the week as we have Rui Dragon Chapter 9. As normal as possible. I mean, I guess Street Dragon is normal, it's just, not everything can be dealt with as easily as normal, as carrying a box or something like that. So, anyways, next chapter we first we don't actually have any kind of negative repercussions for the lighting that was used in the other chapter. It's kind of like a false kind of hype, but it's just kind of the two of them kind of just continue doing the sports activities, and Asa, Ruri still have a chance to had. We just have Ruri being like, shit, like just she cannot play any sports. Like, she's miserably losing, which to be fair, her mother is bigger, faster, and Ruri is a bit of a shut-in, so it's not like you can expect her physical performance. It gets to a point that Ruri's mother is even like, "Are you really my kid? If you're so terrible at sports," which we find in the chapter that Ruri's mother is actually, her hobby are sports and stuff like that. So yeah, it's just nice bonding scenes between mother and daughter. As we get a bit of an explanation on how lightning works for dragons, like how they store it inside of them through time, and they have to release it throughout the days. They can also cool down lightning, and we have that, and we have the explanation. And they're like, well, you cannot fly, so we can't have you fly in the air every time you have a bit of burst of light and then release a big burst. Honestly, it's a good thing that you have like that you have little emergence of it right now, because otherwise we would have a bigger issue if there was like a big explosion. So yeah, it's kind of they're happy about it now. As we also have a drop that dragons, or at least the early, have 9 traits, which we have the like funny scene. You know the scene where someone drinks water, but then they have to spill it out because of shock information. We have that scene with Rory because she's like drinking some water to like cool herself off after all the work exercise, and like, what 9 traits? And she's just kind of miserable now because she has to deal with 9. And the first one was fire breathing, and the other was electricity. I'm not certain if regeneration is considered amongst one of those traits because for some reason, plot, namely, we don't have all the traits being listed because, I mean, apparently she does know it. She says that she didn't see every one of her traits, even though the lightning one was just an accidental spur with her husband, with Yuri's father, so she doesn't have any idea on all of them. But she does know there's 9 of them, and she knows, but she hasn't seen every single one. I personally feel like this calls for an immediate one-way trip to the file to get more of a rundown and explanation of this stuff. But they don't, because instead, Ruri's mother was think. Actually, we found also that in this chapter that Ruri's mother was initially thinking about shipping Ruri off to her father because that way it would be safer for everyone as well as for her because you have someone to teach you the abilities and all that. But Ruri is like, I haven't even met my father, and apparently haven't learned anything about my father because this is the first time because this is the first reason why because the reason why I know he's a dragon is literally because there's the horns. So she doesn't know how to. So she's kind of. I don't want to go live with my dad because I don't know him. I don't know that lifestyle. I can't adjust to it. Not only do I have to then adjust to my powers, I also have to adjust to everything else. And quite frankly, I don't think they have clothes there. So I don't think she also wants to live as a naked dragon hybrid, if you get what I mean. Again, like, unless if she ships clothing to her every day. So yeah, basically, you really cannot live with her father. Which, even so, I feel like they should go meet the father. I mean, just saying. It's not like, I mean, I get it. You have no reason to like the father more or anything because you don't know him or anything. Like, we don't even know exactly. I don't really understand why the two don't live together anymore outside of the fact that he's a dragon, like practical reasons. But I don't know. Like, I feel like you two should go to the father just so you could solve it. I mean, I know it was changed that from one shot they met their father and this manga where they meet the Appa way of the end of the story or something. I don't really know. I think the spot says it's popular enough to point now continue for longer, so I don't know if it's going to. Again, I'm not entirely certain on how long the series is gonna be on. It could be X in a few chapters, in 30 chapters, something like most series are, or maybe it could be like This Time for Torture Printer, which is a very long series. It's like over 200 chapters already. But yeah, we don't know for this right now, but Rory doesn't want to go live with her father because she doesn't know him. She has to change her entire lifestyle, and yeah. We also find out that the reason why uh, Rory's mother did not wanna didn't decide to ship her there is because the school thought that they were gonna help her on her journey and all that. I also find out that Ruri is the first dragon hybrid. So that's an interesting information. I'm guessing this might be true because I mean, God, it was stated this is normal. Like, there is a place you can go for if you are a hybrid. It's just Ruri specifically being a dragon hybrid is a new thing. Granted, I do question this is meant to be like, is she the first dragon hybrid in a Japanese dragon, or is she the first dragon hybrid in general, like Eastern dragon, oh, Western dragons? Are there Western dragons? Do they have children? I don't know, but Ruri is the first of a kind, which is also the reason why there isn't like anything specific. It's just kind of so yeah, they kind of have to go with this. So after this little break and information going through, and again, some family bonding time, we have to go to the next game, which is ping pong, a game that should be easier to understand for Rui to learn to do it with her mother. As they will get some pointers about how this is played, how she should focus, and we actually do have Rui being more naturally talented with this one, as her mother is like, "Oh, I guess you really are my kid," which feels kind of insulting the fact you're comparing sports activities with being a child and all that, but whatever. We have the two going, and they're kind of in a focus now, and they're so impressive in this game, which says a lot about Rui, the fact that she's able to be so crowd-bringing when she's finally able to, they even, Rui's mom said, let's just try to bounce it back, how in sport, or in school sports, main activities like, sending the balls and catching the balls, try to get a rhythm here. That's what's happening with her mother and Rui right now. People are kind of getting around. They're like, wow, those two are really good. Hey, those horns, they're kind of, it's kind of an interesting thing. As then we have, I'm not saying this is a classmate, a cousin, or someone shows up as in, this person says, oh, is this alcohol? Again, I'm not certain if we've seen these people again. This is a slice of life manga. This kind of stuff of relatively generic design. It's like we wouldn't know that many. I think the boy, the little girl is kind of, well, not the little girl, the girl that's pointing out this to is the Oiko. Might be a classmate, but I could also see it be like a thing where maybe this is like one of those other beings that lives in them, because they do apparently exist. We just have to wait until they come out, because again, this is like we're chapter 9 right now, people. We are not gonna get a bunch of stuff, so I could see these people be like maybe some yokai or something that know of Rui's mother situation with the dragon and all that, but we don't know right now. Again, they could just be classmates from school that recognize Rui, but we'll see on how that develops. Maybe it's gonna be something mixed, so maybe it's just gonna be like a something casual like the light in that chapter and this chapter. Not a big thing. Not a big thing. So yeah. Anyways, I hope you like my discussion for this month's for this week's chapters. I hope you leave your thoughts on the chapters you read this week in the comments below. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel for more videos in the future. And when that's it, I cannot wait to see all of you mortals next time. Goodbye.